Hello everyone. Today I'm going to tell you a story that very few people know about, but one that actually affects all of our lives. The hero is not a general, not a dictator, not even a high-ranking commander, an ordinary person, an officer. His name, Stanislav Petrov. But here's the interesting part. If he hadn't made the right decision that night, you watching this video today, we might not even exist. Now let's go back to the night of September 26th, 1983. The most tense period of the Cold War. At that time, the world was experiencing extremely tense times, with the two superpowers, the United States and the Soviet Union, constantly watching each other, and a single wrong move by either side having the potential to wipe out millions. There was no trust between them. If a mistake was made, there would be no turning back. And Petrov was on duty right at the center of this tension. A secret military center near Moscow, a massive control room underground. Screens stretching across the ceiling, radar images, satellite signals, red and yellow flashing lights. Petrov was the officer on duty that night, the fatigue of the day weighing heavily on his face, but his eyes fixed on the screens. This was no joke. 0015. Everything was silent and dim. Suddenly, the entire control room was bathed in red light. Alarm! A high-pitched, piercing siren. A large message appeared on one screen. A ballistic missile launched from the USA. For a moment, everyone in the room froze. You know how sometimes you lock eyes with someone and say, "Are you kidding me?" It was that kind of silence. But that was just the beginning. A few seconds later, the system detected a second missile, then a third, a fourth, a fifth. Oh my God, everyone was shocked and terrified, and everyone at the center knew the same thing. According to Soviet doctrine, if the US attacked, it would launch hundreds of missiles simultaneously. But here, there were only 5. This was strange. Everyone was panicking. An officer approached him. "Comrade Petrov, what shall we do? Should we report it?" Petrov's hand went to the phone, but he couldn't give the order. At that moment, a tremendous battle began in his mind. If this is real, and I make the wrong decision, my country will be destroyed. But if this is a false alarm, giving the counterattack order will truly end the world. On one side were the procedures, the rules he had to follow. On the other, his intuition. Which should he choose? Years later, Petrov said something that actually explained it. If America were going to attack, they wouldn't start with 5 missiles. That doesn't make sense. Petrov said nothing for a while. The staff around him were watching him. It was as if time had stopped. The moment his heartbeat could be heard, Petrov took a deep breath and pulled his hand away from the phone. He filled out the report on the desk and wrote, "This is a false alarm." No one in the room was even breathing. He had gone against procedure. If he was wrong, the responsibility would be entirely his. But he had made his decision. The minutes passed and the decision became clear. Petrov's report was sent to headquarters. Now all they could do was wait. If the missile had been real, the sky should have lit up in a few minutes. All radars should have gone off. But nothing happened. The air was calm. The screens were clear. Outside, life went on as usual. After a while, the truth became clear. The system had mistaken the reflection of sunlight off the clouds for a missile launched from the US. Petrov was right. So, the reason the world didn't end that night was simply because one man said, "This doesn't make sense to me." But this is not a heroic story. The interesting thing is, after this incident, Petrov received no award, no promotion, no recognition. Quite the opposite, in fact. He was even criticized for not filling out parts of the report according to procedure. Years later, in an interview, he said, "I'm no hero. I just did my job." And a little voice inside me convinced me that this wasn't right. But the world saw him differently. Journalists called him the man who saved the world. Documentaries were made, awards were given, but he always remained humble. Petrov passed away in 2017. No one even noticed his death for months. He lived quietly, he left quietly, but he left behind a story. Sometimes you don't need superpowers, hero costumes, or large armies to save the world. Sometimes all it takes is a clear-minded person and a decision made at the right moment. That night, the night of September 26th, 1983. We could say the world was born twice. The first time, billions of years ago. The second time when a man said, "No, this can't be real."